Alright, let's try this again. This is literally the third time I've tried to make this one video. And the first time, I had pets in the way. The second time, I ran out of space on the phone. So, let's try this one more time. I got a huge Genesis haul from my aunt, and as I've said every time I've tried to do this, my aunts are largely responsible for my obsession with video games. One of them was a big Nintendo fan, and she, actually, I guess they shared the first NES I was ever aware of, and that's where some of my great games, all my Marios, Mega Man, Legend of Zelda, that's where a lot of those came from, was her original, or their original NES collection. The Nintendo fan aunt gave me the Super Nintendo Mini that I have, along with the starter games that you guys see in one of my early videos. Most of the starter NES games also came from her. A few of them were mine as a kid. Then the first Genesis I ever saw was my other aunt's, and it was a Genesis Mark 1. I went on and eventually bought a Mark 2, but she had a Mark 1, and I got to play a lot of these games that you're about to see, and these come from that original collection. In fact, my Genesis Mark 1 that I have was originally hers. So that's pretty cool. Let's see here. These are the loose carts I got. There were a ton of games with all of this, but these are the loose carts. Bubsy, which is a fun platformer. Yarn balls all over the place, and jumping and flipping, and I don't know. I don't even know what the bad guys are in this one, but they look like maybe they could be like garlic. I'm not sure. I don't know. So that's Bubsy. California Games. Not a lot to say about that one. Doesn't really seem like that big of a deal, like a game I would want to be involved with. Columns. I have this in the Genesis 6-in-1 or whatever it's called, with Revenge of Shinobi and the original Sonic and Super Hang-On and a couple of others. Really good time waster. If you've ever played Bejeweled, this is Bejeweled before it was on PC. And then Sonic 3D Blast. Sonic was polygonal in this one, and contrary to popular belief, this happened long before he was on the Dreamcast in 3D. So, to Dreamcast people that are like, oh, it's the first 3D Sonic. Nope, he was 3D in this one. It just didn't look very good. So those are the loose games, and then we'll get into the box games. Most of these are like this copy of Alex the Kid here. Manuals, really clean carts, all locked up inside, so I'm not going to waste our time opening all those. This is a little tidbit, I guess, about the cases. The gridded games like this were early Genesis or Master System games. I'm sorry, or Mega Drive games, which matched the pattern that they put on the Master System games, which was the predecessor. Most of those were a white box with grid lines on it and just the title. Some of them have pictures. But yeah, these are early Genesis games. So there's that. Alex Kidd was supposed to be like a mascot, kind of like Mario or Sonic turned out to be. But he never really stuck. I guess there are a handful of Alex Kidd games, but none of them. I mean, obviously, for the Genesis, the big selling point would eventually be Sonic. So not Alex Kidd. Let's see. Arcade Classics, a port of some old Atari and Odyssey games. Centipede, Missile Command, Pong, all locked up in here. I'm sure it's a great port. Here's another port of sorts. This game came out quite a bit earlier on the NES. It's Ariel the Little Mermaid, brought to you by Disney. Now with more colors. The sequel to a game I had earlier, Bubsy 2. You can tell this one was later in the life cycle because we've gone to the more famous Genesis red barber pole stripe. And this one, an improvement, I would say, at least, on the original Bubsy. And way better than the Jaguar version. Tiny Toon Adventures, obviously that's not a B, but the real name of the game is Buster's Hidden Treasure. And this is an even later life cycle, or maybe it was just something that certain developers did, but you can see here it's neither orange or red barber pole or grid lines. It's its own color, so that's pretty cool. I was playing this one earlier, lots of fun. Reminded me of, I had a one of the Tiny Toons games on NES, and this one was about as fun. Championship Pro-Am in one of the soft cases. I've already got one open, so I'll show you what a soft case looks like, cardboard case, in just a minute. This is a top-down racer, as you can see right there, 6 cars on one track, and you race for position, and then you use your reward from the race to upgrade your car and try to see how far you can go. So, Championship Pro-Am. And then Desert Demolition. Oh, wait. That's where the open game was supposed to go. It's Clue, by the way. And the manual and everything here. This is the insert out of the center. And obviously the game goes in there. And the manual goes behind the game. Oh, look at that. A mystical third hand. It goes behind the game there. And then you clip that in place. And the... bless you, mystical third hand. It's like the Addams Family. I have a thing. And then the sleeve goes over the top. And this one is kind of like that Konami game we saw a while ago. It's got its own colors. How cool. Parker Brothers, we've got a couple of those here. They wanted to pimp their stuff wherever they could. So they did. And then back to Desert Demolition, starring The Road Runner and Wile E. Coyote. I love Looney Tunes. I love Disney. We've got a bunch of those here. It's your basic, we're capitalizing on a franchise platformer. Nothing wrong with that. Pretty simplistic. Fatal Labyrinth. This obviously was an early game. I don't know anything about it, but it looks like it goes top down. I'm guessing some kind of adventure RPG type thing. I may have to give this one a play. And a lot of these, if you know anything about these games, I'd love to hear what you know, because I don't know much of anything about a lot of them. This one, as you can see, still in the plastic. It has been opened, though. Frogger, which, if you saw my video about the Super Nintendo, Frogger was actually the last game made for the Super Nintendo, very late in the life cycle of both of these consoles, and it really is just a port of Frogger. But, you know, it's been dressed up some, obviously. What do we have now? Oh, from Capcom. The Great Circus Mystery, starring Mickey and Minnie. I don't know that I'll ever play this one, but it's one of those that I was like, oh, well, that's cool. And you could play it as 1 or 2 player. The Jungle Book, I have this one for Super Nintendo. It's another, you know, capitalize on a franchise type games. I don't know if they... I know that Aladdin on the Genesis versus Aladdin on the Super Nintendo, there's a huge difference. I don't know if there's a big difference in this one. I guess I'll find out. Jurassic Park. I was thinking maybe this was Project Genesis or whatever it was called. It is not. But either way, I've actually played a ROM of this one. And, you know, I find that a lot of these games... I remember being able to go pretty far in most of these games whenever I was a kid. Not just Genesis games, but Super Nintendo, NES. And now as an adult, it's like my brain either can't compute or overthinks. I don't know which. Lemmings 2, The Tribes. This is a direct port of the PC version. And you know what? As much as I love the Lemmings and all that they are, if you're familiar with Lemmings, you'll see... Let's zoom in a little tighter and get you guys focused up. Okay. You'll see the different options here for the different types of lemmings. You have to actually click on the option there and then click on the individual lemming, and we all know how hard point and click with a gamepad is. It's a pain in the butt. So, yeah. Not really recommended, but I do like the lemmings. Oh, look, Parker Brothers, they brought us something else. It's the real estate trading game, better known as Monopoly. That's enough of that. Okay, I remember this game as a kid being really confusing. Pac-Man 2, The New Adventures, and this was a point-and-click adventure game, and I just didn't get what was going on. Maybe if I play it now, I'll understand it, but yeah, really, really odd. And it's by Namco, but I don't know. Anyway, it's just very odd. I don't know. That's a weird one. The Page Master. Love this movie. Actually watched it the other night. And you basically play through the movie. Just like the movie, you go through a lot of the same levels. It's fun. It's fun. Fox used to venture into games, I guess. Rocket Knight Adventures. It was funny. The first time I tried to do this video, I opened this up and there was no game in it. And I realized why. Because for the last like 13... No, it's been longer than that. Like 16 years, I have had the cartridge. So if you've seen my Genesis collection, you know... I think it was a video where I found some stuff in my closet. That was the copy of Rocket Knight Adventures that goes with this. Weird, huh? Sonic the Hedgehog, not for resale copy. This came with Genesis Mark 1s, which was immediately followed by Sonic the Hedgehog 2. It got a cool new packaging. And then we get the Mega Hits series version of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Everybody knows you need Sonic the Hedgehog 3 plus the flip-up cart of Sonic and Knuckles to play the complete Sonic the Hedgehog 3 Sonic Knuckles combo. What a monstrosity that is. Oh, look. It's another board game turned into a video game. It's Super Battleship. I don't know what makes it super. I don't know if it says back here. Oh, it tells you where your ship has been damaged, I guess. And you have different weapons. I'll just take Electronic Battleship. Taz in Escape from Mars. Looney Tunes, again, capitalizing. I actually liked this game when I was a kid. It was a lot of fun. You start off on Mars. That's about all I remember. I think you can eat a box of rocks for some reason. Didn't really make a lot of sense. Valis 3, you know what? Whenever I did this video the first time the other night, I didn't know anything about this, but I looked it up, and it's like a $35 game when it's all closed up like this. So that's interesting. At the very least, maybe I've got some trade fodder here. Who knows? Looks like a side-scroller. Viewpoint. I know absolutely nothing about this game. But, as you can see... Well, that doesn't help at all. Yeah. So that's Viewpoint. Wheel of Fortune. Ugh. If I ever saw a console that didn't have Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, or Family Feud on it, I don't know what I'd do. And last but not least, Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego? You know what? This was a pretty cool way, and it says here, desk encyclopedia included. I'm not sure what that is. I know inside, I actually have a bunch of stuff inside of here from when we used to play when I was a kid. This is how we used to sign up for free video game magazines, apparently. You know, you had to mail things in. This has some codes where we had advanced through the game, my aunt more than I, but I guess this is the little encyclopedia, maybe? Oh, this is the detective's manual. So that tells you all that. I don't see this desk encyclopedia. Well, bummer. I do know that this is a folder telling you all about the EA games for the Genesis. But I was playing this a while ago, and this was a clever way to teach kids history without teaching them history. Like, they didn't have to know that they were learning history, but they had to learn some of the history to be very good at the game. So you travel through time, you get clues from a witness, an informant, and then you can scan for different items, and you enter the information into like your dossier and your evidence folders. It's really neat. It's a fun way to do a game like this. It is a point and click, which kind of sucks, but otherwise, lots of fun. So that's all the games. I think I counted up like 31 titles the other day. And what an addition. It immediately boosts my Genesis collection into the largest collection I have category. So that's pretty cool. Tell me about some of these games that you heard me say I don't know anything about. You know, Viewpoint, Valis 3, Fatal Labyrinth, and let me know what you know about them. Maybe you have some pretty good experiences with them, and you know, just share some of your. I've always wanted video responses or people to link back to other videos. So share some of your biggest hauls too. You know, this wasn't a haul. This was free, but very cool. Comment below. Wait. Oh yeah, like, subscribe, and comment below, and we'll see you guys next time.